Namaskar, hello, and welcome to this very special occasion whereby we are all commemorating the Janma Jayanti Mahotsav of one of the legendary academicians primarily. Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee is not just a name, it's a legend in its own right. And more than being a politician, more than being a martyr who gave up his life for the cause of the complete integration of Kashmir with Bharat, एक राष्ट्र में एक निशान और एक विधान ही चलेगा. That was Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee's great contributions to the Indian political scenario at that point in time, who saved perhaps Kolkata from going to the East Pakistan at that point in time. But primarily, he was an educationist at heart. And every year on the UN PAN Service Public Service Day, which falls on 23rd of June, Rethink India commemorates the Public Service Day with education as a special focus. But then, as NEP has also talked about around 22 second principle, that education has to be projected as a public service. So today on his birthday, which is 6th of July, we are all gathered here to remember the legend, the life and legend of Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee. And today we call it as an education as a public service forum, because there cannot be a better public service than education per se. In the Rethink India parlance, we say that the fifth estate,
अगर वीडियो आपको सुन लो
academia,
और
it
थोड़ा सा
is.
म्यूट कर लो.
Yeah. So in the Rethink India parlance, we consider academia as the fifth estate, the foremost estate, which is quite distinctive from the first, second, and third estates of legislature, of executive, of judiciary, and even the fourth estate of media, because all these four pillars, they are all germinated, they are all curated by the academia per se. So somewhere or the other, if the grand vision of a Vikasit Bharat, of a Divya Bhavya Samrid Bharat has to be seen, so academia has to be really at the forefront of the national policy making. They have to be the leaders of change, and that's where this nation of 140 crores would really march further and forward in the Committee of Nations out there. So, before starting the formal commemoration and felicitating the grand galaxy of eminent luminaries, we would really like to present the octate of education, octate of the Indian version of education. Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee was perhaps one of the youngest Kulpatis. In the Rethink India parlance, we are trying to, I would say, move beyond having our own Indian knowledge systems incorporated somewhere or the other. So the Kulpati and the Kuladhipati, this parampara which had been there, we have Dr. Murali Lal Gaur from the land of Bihar, the land of empires, what India has been given. So the Nalandas and the Takshashilas and all that great universities, the Vishwavidyalaya which used to have. So the notion of Kulpatis used to be there. He was the youngest Kulpati of the Calcutta Vishwavidyalaya. And he presented in his memory, because a person is known more by his work, and today is the education as a public service forum. We would really love to just glance through those Ashtapadi. It is called the octet, the Shama Prasad Mukherjee octet of education, because it's a galaxy of educationists out here. So Dr. Mukherjee's octet, it was all compiled, his vision of education in a very elaborate book, Shama Prasad Mukherjee, his vision of education, edited by Dr. Anirban Ganguly and Avdesh Kumar Singh. And the must possess treatise for every nationalist educator. The Ashta Siddhantas, what Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee postulated. And 6 years back, Rethink India, when we were doing the public reading of the first draft of the 600-pager national education policy, it was abridged into 66 pages the very next year, 2020. So we said that NEP fulfills the vision of Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Uh, uh, the octet, what Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee has given across. Just a moment, I have. Uh, Yes. So the NEP 2020 fulfills the octet of Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee's vision of education. So the first Siddhanta what Dr. Mukherjee talked was that First and foremost, a system of education which is consistent with the genius of the people of India and suited to modern life and conditions cannot be fully achieved unless and until India enjoys a political status which will give her the liberty to decide for herself what constitutes her national needs and how best they can be satisfied. So Dr. Mukherjee was talking more from an imperialized, it was an era when India was still subjugated by the British yoke. We said that right from the well thought out preamble to the policy to chapters 2, 4, and 22, the genius of India has been made the foundations of the policy discourse in letter, spirit, and operational plans. So, Dr. Mukherjee talked about that there must be less degrading poverty and less of disease and pestilence now nationwide in extent which are sapping our vitality and energy and shutting out the inrush of joy, light, and beauty into this land of proud and ancient civilization. So, those were his great words, that visionary vice chancellor in Dr. Mukherjee. So, these preconditions what Dr. Mukherjee talked about have thankfully been taken care of substantially by the ease of living policies of the government of India in terms of basics like gas cylinders, toilets, electricity, etc., whose impact shall pay fruits. Uh, and we have doyens like Madam Deepika Gupta from IIM Vishakhapatnam, Associate Professor of Strategy, and they are the people who are encapsulating, who are doing data driven impact of the entire welfare expenditure, what is happening in the country, the policy, I would say, policy prescriptions, their evaluations in their own right. So, NEP 2020 makes this as an integral part of it in its detailed treatise, specifically on the count of pushing the case for school clusters and other stuff. The third of the Ashta Siddhantas of Dr. Mukherjee talked about that the state must spend far more adequately and generously on education. And today we are so very fortunate that the Bharatiya Rashtra has crossed 1008 plus Vishwavidyalaya. A significant set of them are public universities and a humongous lot of CFTIs, the centrally funded technical institutions. They have come across, be it IITs, be it IIMs, or be it the AIMS. A lot of public investment has gone over there. So NEP 2020 has advocated for a 6% GDP spend on education and has elaborated it immensely in the addendum 1 on financing. So we are really right on the mark what Dr. Mukherjee envisioned for. Things are moving forward on that direction. So fourth of the Ashta Siddhantas, what Dr. Mukherjee postulated was that there must be an elaborate system of elementary and secondary education which will form an enduring foundation on which the great structure of university education will be built, shining like a crown of purposeful achievement, drawing inspiration and strength from the abundance of materials which the lower stages will bring to its doors. And thankfully, NEP 2020 sees the entire educational life cycle as a continuum. This is quite evident from the fact that no chapter of the NEP 2020 can be read in isolation. It's an integral part of a vast, interconnected mosaic, or the symbol of Mobius strip, what uh, uh, what that chairperson Manjul Bhargav sir, he chose the eminent music, and I would request if you're on the mic, you can please switch it off. So it's an integral part of a vast interconnected mosaic of both vision and the action plan. NEP 2020 has taken the initiative to factor the early childhood education as well as into the educational edifice. So again, the fourth principle of Dr. Mukherjee has been incorporated well. Fifthly, Dr. Mukherjee talked about that education at every stage should be as cheap as possible while its quality will be maintained at a high level. So, substantive emphasis on education being a social, not for profit commodity. I think this is the 23rd principle of NEP as well, that significant investment has to come from the society. And as I remember, Professor U.R. Rao committee in the early 2000, it said that we need nurseries of talent, not the shops of education. Perhaps that spirit is taken forward by NEP over there. So, NEP 2020 documents with elaborate paragraphs entailing the rationale behind the same. Education being a social, not for profit commodity. And today, when we are talking that education is a public service, so that very spirit of its being not for profit, being public service per se, is very much reverberating across the length and breadth of the country. This has been mandated both at the school level and at the higher education level, and the equanimity of the regulatory guidelines across public and private institutions ensures a control over quality. And perhaps Professor Deepika Gupta would, in her address, would touch upon, because being an ace finance person, top ranker in chartered accountancy and other financial, I would say, spectrum, she would be having a lot of command on the public financing, the private financing of the entire gamut of education per se in the country. Then the sixth Ashta Siddhantas, this is quite very amply important, that while expressing our deepest gratitude to our past benefactors, let us emphasize that the universities must inspire private benefactions on a much wider scale than they hitherto done. But this disparity is nowhere more staggering than in this unfortunate land of ours. If our wealthy men who have amassed fortunes, whether through personal efforts or through the accident of birth or otherwise, make up their minds to allot a portion of what they possess for the upliftment of their brethren, for the wide diffusion of knowledge and culture, for the alleviation of suffering, they will be uprooting feelings of hostility and antagonism, and will inspire the affection and confidence of the masses, whose prosperity and improvement they will does have helped to stabilize. So, on the NEP front, it elaborates upon the provisioning of social finance in the form of endowments and donations from CSR funds, private charity into the policy doctrine, and the culture of giving back has been adequately emphasized upon. So, here we see the great aspiration of that devout nationalist and an academician first. Dr. Mukherjee, as we all see, that politician next, but a academician first at heart, and that used to be the character of the Indian freedom struggle in the early days of the Republic. And seventhly, there must be a close and honorable connection between education and trade, the entire education and skills continuum. Dr. Mukherjee saw it early on. Industry and commerce, so that men trained in different branches of practical skill and knowledge will have a natural scope for their talents. And NEP has tried to address this very need by internalizing vocational education into the entire spectrum of school and higher education. Dignity of labor, which used to be an Indian way of life, has been amply emphasized upon as an integral component of education, which doesn't alienate the students from their households, rather forges an inalienable bond back to his or her locale. And finally, and the most important one, and that's where we have a set of Saptarishis today in our galaxy of luminaries who will be felicitated with Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee Excellence in Education as a public service citation, that the universities must be given the amplest freedom to work out their salvation. We must free education from the undercurrents of political and communal strife, and let each university have a constitution judiciously planned on academic considerations and truly representative in character. Let the men chosen for their administration be of the right type, inspired solely by the idea of training youths who will be an asset to the cause of Indian progress. And this is the biggest accomplishment of NEP 2020, that the entire regulatory architecture has been remodeled so as to extend this vision of Dr. Mukherjee, not just in letter but in spirit. And as we have noted, that chapter 8, 18, and 23 are quite in line with this very vision of extending amplest freedom and working out their salvation to the educational institutions. So with this अष्ट सिद्धांतास एन्यूमरेशन, हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं कि महापुरुष कोई है तो उसको जितना आप मानिए, वी वैल्यू समवन, तो उनकी बात को, उनके एफोरिज्म्स को, उनके विजन को, we could not see Dr. Mukherjee post 1953, just 2 years after the Indian Republic. We saw his martyrdom when he went to agitate for the close integration of Kashmir with Bharat, which could be achieved after a long epoch in 2019 when Article 370 subsection was removed and Jammu and Kashmir was made a very integral part of the Indian Constitution, Indian Republic. So this was our tribute to Dr. Mukherjee on his birth anniversary by way of enumerating his Ashta Siddhantas on education. And as we have mentioned, we received very lovely and very elaborate submissions in the form. We said that education as a public service, we had a I would say, a very intertwined kind of framework, and to our utter satisfaction and deep learning, because we at Rethink India consider ourselves as learners from the doyens all across, that what does education as a public service means. So championing a vision of education not only as a driver of economic development but also as a shared societal endeavor through which individuals, communities and societies can develop their fullest potentials. And we would be really we are really honored to honor the doyens like Professor Dr. Murari Lal Gaur, whose elaborate his lifetime work is committed to this very spirit of championing a vision of education, not only as a driver of economic development, but also as a shared societal endeavor. We will just see through it in a glance as to what he has been up to. And defending education as a public service and common good, which is humanistic vision, policy focus, and principles of governance. Then we also posed that what are some of the futuristic thinking aspects, which also all our eminent luminaries, they just have given, I think, a complete anthology, which I think the whole higher and the schooling education system would have to really devour through the kind of
कौन
work
पे है?
done all through their lifetimes in terms of accountability systems, capacity building, strategic thinking, so and so forth. So we would really like to keep this commemoration short and sweet. It's a Sunday evening, and all our academics have just come over here. So I would like to take this opportunity. Sorry,
कौन?
uh, who is there?
कितना?
Let me.
अच्छा,
Yeah, sorry. So, yes. So we are really blessed to pay our humble tributes to this galaxy, this septet, this evening on commemorating the very jubilant day of the birth anniversary of Dr. Mukherjee. And first and the foremost, we would really like to bestow upon the Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee Excellence in Education as a Public Service Citation 2025 on none other than Dr. Murari Lal Gaur. And based on an elaborate submission, and I would really like to take a pause and share with you as to what Dr. Gaur has been up to. I think that whole submission, Rethink India would really try to publish it as a booklet and circulate it across the 1008 Vishwavidyalayas of the country, because the kind of depth and the breadth what Dr. Gaur has covered upon is just mind boggling. And this is the kind of, I would say, this is the kind of academia which is still inspires and reverberates the length and breadth of the country. So I will just scroll it through, reading out some of the areas, like on the answer to the first question. So Dr. Gaur has consistently demonstrated a commitment to out of the box thinking, courageous decision making. So he gives elaborate examples. It is not just an intertwined kind of submission. He says, as a founder principal and dean at Godhra, In fact, I would give more time to Dr. Gaur to speak about his journey on this August platform, because learning from the Acharya's mouth, that is what Bharatiya Padhyati of learning is all about. So, Sir had been a founder, principal, and dean at Godhra, and currently he serves as the Kulpati of Dr. C.V. Raman University in Vaishali. He has built institutions from scratch, revitalized academic ecosystems in challenging environments, and community integrated education, value driven leadership, nation building through education. He has integrated education with research, development, community development, spiritualism, nature, indigenous knowledge system, and wisdom. And he has promoted holistic, climate smart, and values based education, championed inclusive education for empowering tribal and rural youth. Godhra, we all know, for the all the wrong reasons, all the tragedy which happened some like 2.5 decades back. But then Godhra remains a tribal related populace. So, as an agricultural scientist, the kind of effort he did in empowering the tribal and rural youth is something which Dr. Gaur has been so very strong votary of. He has bridged academic knowledge with grassroots innovation, mentoring a culture of nation building through education. That he has, there are more than 100 scientific and more than 1,000 musical and other spiritual involvements of him. And his dozens of leading scientific platforms is self speaking to depict his deeper inclinations and credentials towards quality contents, content creation, and inclusive mass communication on a variety of subjects. So I can just go on and on. So Dr. Gaur has championed education as a human right and a social mission. He has defended non-excludability through open and equitable access. Like at Dr. C.V. Raman University, he has ensured that educational resources, skill programs, and campus facilities and research opportunities remain accessible to all, regardless of background or economic ability. And his initiatives like eco-friendly campus infrastructure built from recycled material, free community classes, and open seminars uphold the non-exclusive shared nature of education as a public good. So on terms of futuristic thinking, uh, so Dr. Gaur has laid the foundations of process-based academic governance at Dr. C.V. Raman University, Vaishali, where he has introduced something called dynamic working groups and issue specific task forces for academic reforms, faculty accountability, and student welfare. So a university is more like a parliament where the speaker, the vice chancellor, has to create lot of groups of ministers or parliamentarians, the way we sent the global emissaries of 7 groups of parliamentarians across. So this is so flexible community integrated extension models in Gujarat. So he implemented community-based monitoring systems for agricultural extension and rural development projects. And in events like drought, sudden pest attacks, or political disturbances, these decentralized village level process networks, they proved more effective than hierarchical models, ensuring timely intervention and resource mobilization. So then some specific areas of adaptive responses in watershed and climate smart initiatives, where he has process documentation, iterative learning, participatory feedback loop. So we can say that a lot of democratization is all through the heart of his work. Then decentralized evaluation and feedback mechanisms has been at the center of Dr. Gaur's lifelong, like people-centric, adaptable, and iterative accountability processes he has tried to set up, and that makes him quite a worthy, the most worthy candidate for Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee citation for education as a public service. And on terms of capacity building through stakeholder involvement and open dialogue, uh, like open consultation platforms and village level dialogue sessions at CVRU Vaishali, he has established them. Dr. Gaur has initiated regular open house sessions with students, faculty, advisory meetings, and farmer industry student interactive forums. And that's where you get to listen. राम राज्य में राजा राम का एक घंटा रहता था कि कोई भी फरियादी आकर वहाँ अपनी फरियाद दे सकता है. तो आई थिंक दैट्स एन ओपन हाउस विद डॉक्टर गौर हैज चैंपियन. And participatory rural appraisals, farmer field schools, and dialogue based institutional reforms. It's not a top down ki he has just declared something as a wise man. So, as Kulpati, instead of unilateral policy imposition, he has introduced consultative processes of faculty reforms, curriculum revisions, and infrastructural improvements. So, his capacity building, he says that it's not an event, it's a culture built through open conversations, mutual respect, and shared ownership. And last but not least, the third item, the strategic thinking, the whole of systems approach. Uh, so, Dr. Gore says that institutions thrive not in isolation. So, he has found multiple tensions when he took over as the Kulpati of Dr. C.V. Raman Vishwavidyalaya, financial constraints, regulatory backlogs, academic discontent. And then he initiated a system wide situational analysis, formed multi sectoral task groups involving faculty, students, alumni, community leaders, and regulatory consultants, and drafted a university reform roadmap and based on ground evidence and stakeholder data. So this enabled balancing competing tensions, financial austerity versus academic quality, because all devout, I would say, academic administrators, they find these competing tensions. So traditional courses versus market aligned innovations, regulatory compliances versus community outreach. Decisions were made collectively, supported by data trends on student performance, placement data, and local employment trends. And then from Gujarat, his experience has been data backed crop planning, village level knowledge platforms. Now, this is so very important, like when we talked about national knowledge networks and things like that. So, using his powers over there as a vice chancellor, he created the village level knowledge platform where the Indian knowledge systems are actually there at the grassroots. It needs to be documented for that matter. And the whole of system integration transformed agricultural capacity in tribal areas, and evidence and research to drive educational innovation, institutional policy reforms through participatory governance. So, this is quite, I would say, monograph which needs to be devoured through for any, I would say, any persona who really wants to make a mark on the higher educational space of the country. Dr. Gore has really shown the way. Just a moment. I would just get on to his citation. And I would request Dr. Murari Lal Gaur to accept this token tribute from this August platform and address us as to what I could have gone on and on his great submission, which he really made it to this forum. So over to Dr. Murari Lal Gaur. First of all, sir, accept this and address us. You have to unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. I was not prepared to speak. I was not doing that to speech, but anyway, with very big level of humility and honor, I accept this citation. And it is not just a personal milestone. It is a shared celebration for all teachers, all hard workers who are working in the tough areas. As told, first of all, I was not knowing even the date of birth of Syama Prasad Mookerjee ji. I am very open and candid speaking. I was not knowing. So thank you, sir, Raghav ji. You told me, and I am a very, very innovative kind of person. Date of birth is 6/7/1901. If you add all the numerals, the total comes 6. So 6 is a date which is in the body, in the birth of this great fellow. Secondly, I was not knowing he was the youngest vice chancellor. But one step further, he was the vice chancellor at the age of 33. and it is 3 plus 3 6, again 6. You know what a great combination he is having. And then come the numerals, because I am an engineer. I did my PhD from IIT Roorkee 30 years back. And you will be happy that when I got degree, who was with me on the dais? It was the Infosys chairman, Narendra Murthy. We got degree together on the same date, 4th of April 2000, with the name of, with the hands of Sukhjit Singh Bandala, who was the first governor of the Uttarakhand. So I feel that way, that this great fellow has digital importance. What you have told, he has 8 principles, Ashta Siddhanta. Sir, if I speak in one line, NEP 2020 minus 8 is equal to 0. Totally zero. I challenge all the policy makers. Let me listen. What is the new thing other than 8 Siddhanta in NEP? It is total replication of these 8 Siddhanta, which I have first time listened from you, Raghav. Very excellently you have spoken. On the basis of those Ash Siddhanta, I will speak only one line for 8. What we require for the next generation is vision. Vision for higher education and vision for higher education institutions. You will be happy to know tomorrow I am traveling to Bangalore. There is an institute, Satya Sai University of Human Excellence. They have called me as a chief guest in their convocation. I will be delivering how the human values will be required for the higher education system. So the right time, I will reflect everything there. It's an exercise for me. Okay, so first is the vision for higher education. What we require, we have to move from conformity to creativity. It is lacking. Creativity is not there in the curricula, in the class, in the teacher, in the students. We are just imposing something, creativity is not there. Second point was smart approaches. What is smart approaches? We call sensor and AI and chat GPT. It is not smart approaches.
Mhm.
Chat GPT sensor can never give you a question. It can only answer. It can only answer. It can never give you a question. So your AI must be improved. AI with AI with AI. Three AI must be there. Artificial intelligence with academic integrity. Academic integrity. So AI square must be there. AI should be with AI. Only AI will not serve the purpose. It should be artificial human intelligence. Unless brain works, it will not work. So good question creates good answers, and AI is not possible. We are talking driverless vehicle and everything. Our ancient systems were having. Ravan was having a Pushpak Viman, tick Sri Lanka. 1 second. Narada Muni was having a timeless travel, click moon to earth. Sanjay was having a megapixel. You can never touch those knowledge which we were already having. Nalanda was having 70 lakhs books written on the leaves, and still Oxford came after 25 years of Nalanda. So we are full of wisdom, we are full of knowledge, but we have lost it. How to recover it, how to decode it, and how to circulate. So NEP is a decoding of Ashta Siddhanta. This is the one line I can say. Everything is mentioned by Syama Prasad ji is totally reflected in the NEP. So we are not good in understanding the meaning of the words. Whole world is behind the words only. SDGs, so NEP. But what is the meaning of that? Sustainable development goal is totally wrong word. I openly criticize it. It's not a goal. You can never achieve it. It is a currency. It's a currency. Go on increasing whatever you can get. So this way, our system must be there. Now, the newer role of the technology, it should be, students must be the co-creator of knowledge. They should not be box. You put something in their mind and forget. They must create own knowledge. Then lastly, employability. Employability must be not degree carrying. It should be the skill carrying. They must carry some skill with them, not degree. And it is not the monogram. I am IIT, I am NIT. I had been an IIT for 25 years. इनकी मैं एक एक जड़ को जानता हूँ, IITs को, they are just surviving because of their name. A small school in a village can perform better than IIT because they are getting top students. And we are struggling in Bihar with the lower students of 33% marks, and we are signing them. And you are comparing us with the IIT. What nonsense this is. You have to change your perception, policymakers. So a small villager, a small teacher can be a better professor. A farmer can be a better professor than IIT doctor. By seeing the crop, he can show what is the disease, and that I have learned in Godhra. I have called farmers in my classroom to teach. You will be happy to know, sir, this college was established by Modi ji when he was chief minister. He put the foundation stone, and after 4 years he came to inaugurate it. He was the person who sat on my seat first time. Then I sat on that seat. So I have that kind of thing. But rightly, now we are in a good direction. People like you are helping the university system in a big way. That is required. Lastly, innovation is there. Last is rural urban disbalance. Disbalance is there, sir.
Mhm.
Last month I was in Mahindra University in Hyderabad. I was at rest issue. Tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, or tier 4 cities, they cannot be compared with tier 1 cities. So universities at village level, they must be given equal importance, equal value. It is lacking. And government will never give. The value will be given by Raghav Mittal or some kind of agencies who knows the nerves of the roots and soils. So this is the base, sir. I would like to say knowledge is a tree. You sit under a tree, total knowledge of every discipline is there. How root functions, how it takes water, how leaves move, how it automatically creates food, how it generates, how it gives shade, how it gives fruit, giving and without any problem. We are taking from them, they are not complaining. The human system, human values, ethics, and the traditional wisdom must be integrated with the modern technology. This is the slogan from my side. I will not take much time because other genius people are there. I like to get educated from them. I would say that Syama Prasad Mukherjee was saying that classroom is not a lecture hall. He stopped at that time only. I add one thing there. Classroom is a karma bhumi.
Mhm.
You are creating future seeds from the classroom. So classroom is not a chalk and board. It is not a ऑडियोविजुअल सिस्टम. इट इज ए कर्म भूमि. यू हैव टू क्रिएट. वीर पैदा करने हैं आपको क्लासरूम में. ये कॉन्सेप्ट अगर आ गया यूनिवर्सिटी में सर, तो हम किसी से पीछे नहीं है. ऑक्सफोर्ड चल के हमारे पास आएगी, पहले भी आती थी. नालंदा वाज द फर्स्ट यूनिवर्सिटी जहां पर फॉरेन स्टूडेंट्स आते थे, उनका एंट्रेंस टेस्ट होता था और उनको एंट्री दी जाती थी. उसको देख उसको देखने के बाद ऑक्सफोर्ड स्टार्ट हुई. So we are full of knowledge, wisdom. So let us change our mindset for this next generation. Thank you very much for giving me this kind citation. I never believed. So nice of you, sir. God bless you. Thank you very much.
थैंक्स अ लॉट सर। प्रोफेसर गौर ने बिहार की पुण्य पावन धरती से एक प्रस्थान त्रयी का जो नाद किया है, आर्टिफिशियल ह्यूमन इंटेलिजेंस को एकेडमिक इंटेग्रिटी के साथ जोड़ते हुए, और जो प्रकृति प्रदत्त ज्ञान है जिसको एग्रेरियन इंटेलिजेंस हम लोग कह सकते हैं, उसके साथ, और कैसे हम कक्षाओं को एक कर्म भूमि का रूप दें। और कर्म भूमि की जब बात आती है तो आई थिंक आर नेक्स्ट
सर अगर आप मेरे को, मैं एक चीज भूल गया, अगर अलाउ करें 1 मिनट से देता हूँ.
सा
मैंने अपना बीटेक किया था जबलपुर से 1983 में.
सा
इंडिया का फर्स्ट गेट एग्जाम क्वालिफाई किया, आईआईटी खड़गपुर में एडमिशन लिया और छोड़ दिया. नहीं करना, मुझे कर्म भूमि में जाना है. आई ज्वाइंट वाटरशेड प्रोग्राम. 7 स्टेट में रह के मैं 25,000 किलोमीटर पैदल चला हूँ. नदियों में, नालों में, गंगा, यमुना एंड बहुत सारी रिवर्स में मैंने बेम्बू के बेस पे चेक, मतलब बहुत बड़ा ऐसा मैं संवाद मैंने किया है प्रकृति से, किसान से और स्टूडेंट से. ये हमें करने की जरूरत है सर. थैंक यू वेरी
जय
मच
हो,
सर.
जय हो, जय हो। सो कर्म भूमि की जब बात की है तो तकनीक से हम प्रबंधन के क्षेत्र में आते हैं। एंड फ्रॉम टेक्नोलॉजी टू द डोमेन ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, वी हैव प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर दीपिका गुप्ता मैम, who is a associate professor for strategy at the Indian Institute of Management, Vishakhapatnam, one of the next generations of IIMs. And let me do her introduction, a formal introduction, and the kind of submissions what we received from her, I would say, empowered desk out here. Sorry, just a moment. Yes, I'm here. Yeah. So, a brief introduction of Dr. Gupta. She holds fellow program in management, which is a doctorate in corporate strategy and policy area from the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. She's a first attempt chartered accountant and chartered secretary, and she was all India ninth ranker. We all celebrated the CA, the Chartered Accountancy Day on 1st of July. She holds a master's degree in financial services and management, first rank again from the University of Mumbai, and she also qualified UGC NET in management. She also has a PG diploma in banking and securities law, overall second rank from Indian Law Institute, Delhi. And she happens to be one of the founding members of the Indian Institute of Management, Vishakhapatnam. So from Vaishali to Vishakhapatnam, that's a transition we are making. Dr. Gupta has almost 12 years of industrial experience working with organizations like Bombay Stock Exchange and Finanza Capital Services Private Limited. She regularly publishes and reviews in international national journals and participates in leading management conferences worldwide. And she has chaired two international conferences.
मुझे क्या मिलेगा मैं दोबारा
Ma'am,
पूछ
sir, yes, I will request if you can mute, that will be helpful. Uh, Alok Chaturvedi, sir, if you can mute, my spotlight can come back to Deepika, ma'am. Otherwise, I have to go back to the controls to do it myself. I'm just sorry. Yeah, it has been there. So, such an illustrious academic background, like flying of the flyer colors all through. And Madam has been very brief but very pointed. Like we say that सतसैया के दोहरे ज्यो नाविक के तीर और देखन में छोटे लगे पर घाव करें गंभीर। और वही प्रबंधन का जो भारतीय प्रबंधन की एक विशिष्टता है, जो डॉक्टर मुरारीलाल गौर ने तकनीकी भाव से बात कही। आज इंडियन सिस्टम्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, व्हाट वी रिक्वायर टू रियली द मैनेजमेंट, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, गवर्नेंस एंड लीडरशिप, ये जो समुच्चय है, I think that is where Dr. Gupta comes in as the professor of strategy, because it engulfs, it encapsulates all the domains and divisions and creates a classroom into a true karma bhumi. So she works with entrepreneurs through various programs. She's a director with the Section 8 company of IIMV Field. तो जैसे डॉक्टर मुरारी लाल गौर ने कहा कि फील्ड में जाके पसीना बहाओ, वहां सीखो, so I think she is the director of an IIM Vishakhapatnam Field, a Section 8 company which is incubating entrepreneurs all through. And she has won various awards for IIM Vishakhapatnam for the DRDO programs, not some American foreign corporation program. It's a DRDO program what she has worked upon on terms of education as a public and common good. Dr. Gupta, she has defended as in line with IMV vision and also the NEP policy. She also handled the career development and alumni relationship services of the institution. Hence, she has a humanistic vision, policy focus, and a principle of governance which are inbuilt in the entire ecosystem. And this also aligns with her roles as Chief Audit Executive and Director Finance for IMV Field, and earlier as Administrative Head and Chief Vigilance Officer of the Institute. And there are, so this is what makes her contribution so very significant. Coming to the accountability systems, focusing on processes, not structures. And so IMV has been continuously demonstrating 100% results, and we have multiple initiatives for alumni for Industry Connect. The current market scenario presents disturbing options for placements. That is only what a strategy person can admit so very valiantly. And IMV has adapted a flexible system to continue support for their students, and there are many more examples. Uh, they have confidentiality reasons, we can understand it so very well. On terms of capacity building through stakeholder involvement and open dialogue, so IMV is conducting various programs of procurement procedures for DRDO, CVC, MOF. So our BrahMos, which could go deep within the Pakistani hinterland up to its nuclear base. Perhaps the speedy procurement, which are management geniuses like Dr. Gupta, which cannot have a CVC questioning at a later date because public systems are too intricate to handle. No audit question can come. So that is the great contribution she has made all through. And Dr. Gupta continues to interact with the alumni on continuous basis, enabling open dialogues between industry and academia. And a lot of details are out there. And finally, on terms of strategic thinking, now हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं कि गणेश जी को ज्ञान कौन देगा. So a professor of strategic thinking, I think she is all through deep into it. So various changes undertaken, like changes in terms of aligning reforms in the placement of the institute. IMV has been continuously demonstrating 100% results, and they have multiple initiatives for alumni, for industry connect, and the research continues with focus on legal, ethics, and policy matters such as CSR, insurance, gamification, ethics, corporate governance, etc. So this is all in brief, because we can understand that management again is quite a it has its own limitations on divulging a lot of confidential matters. So Dr. Gupta has been all through contributing to the. Just a moment, I'm just coming to her citation once. Uh, yeah, switching between. So we would really like to felicitate her with Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee, excellence in excellence in education as a public service citation. There are three terms which again come very much, I would say, specifically perhaps for Dr. Gupta only, like governance, administration, and management. So the three triads of the public service are very much out there in her great good work so far. And I would now invite Dr. Gupta to accept this token tribute and address the forum. Dr. Gupta.
Thank you, Raghavji, and pleasure, honor, and with deep gratitude, I accept this award. I know I have been very brief with my details on the questions that were asked. As I stated, some of them were actually for confidentiality reasons, given we cannot open up on the placement details because this year had been a challenge, I think, not only for bigger IIMs as normally said, but for all of us, including IITs. But we continue, and we still have a small number of students left. But I think we need to declare a closure given the new academic year. No, we'll declare the results soon. The other thing that I would like to state here, with so much of good work done by Professor Murariji that I have been just listening to, I think I have not even done 1% of what he has been doing, and still I feel that given as a founding faculty member of IIM Visakhapatnam, a lot of things happened since being a founding faculty. It's like a startup technically, and you are entrusted with a lot of responsibilities, but you're not supposed to look at incentives. Yeah, so that's what the basic role of a teacher, if you really look at it, why we are called noble profession. That is one of the reasons. That is what I believe in. Plus, I also believe in our the IMB logo that we have, which speaks about Vidya Param Daivatam, which if you really translate into English, it means knowledge is the supreme deity, and that's where the entire genesis of NEP is based on. And if you look at our logo, also the IIM Visakhapatnam logo, interestingly, portrays this visionary outlook, not only for the institute but also for its past students, the current students, and even the future students. Now, if you really look at it, it's in a wave form. If out of curiosity, if you just log into the page and see, it looks like a wave form where it is actually trying to tell what is the role of the institute. So that was what was it's fascinating about IMV, and the role is more of that. It's like a radiant sun, and it's illuminating the lives of students through quality education, knowledge, and wisdom. If you really look at our mission and vision statement, which is what I think just now Raghavji spoke about, the triads that I come from, and I truly love the place, the strategy that I teach, and some of the concepts which begins with a mission and a vision statement. And our institute's mission vision is more to create entrepreneurial mindset. That's our, you can say it's like a takeaway, that we try to connect with every program that we float, whether it's a flagship MBA program, or even a doctoral program, or any diploma, or even a certificate. Whatever we do, that's our base agenda, the thought that it has to be an entrepreneurial mindset, because here we are to make leaders of the future, business managers in the future. And plus my connect with the Section 8 company that came because of one of the government funding that we received. And I've been quite connected with some of the entrepreneurs, especially the women entrepreneurs. And that's where I see a lot of excitement from the grassroots level, which Murariji talking about agriculture farmer at the grassroots. I look at from a different perspective, where I look at the women entrepreneurs who may not be knowing how to speak even one line in English, and that divide which he also pointed out, that divide of language, that divide of even the knowledge. Now that actually makes you go deeper and think that how do you connect with them, how do you provide them, how will they think critically, how will they act ethically, and how will they build sustainably. That those are some of the things that inspire us, and we try to do a lot of things. We have a lot of programs in the entrepreneurial side. We run a Naripreneur. We look at a lot of things of looking at how do we meet challenges about funding, how do we make their entrepreneurial activities do the like reach the go-to market level, how do we make sure that these entrepreneurs create uh, job markets for the future. Yeah, so we look at a lot of those things which are really, really exciting, and that's, I think, somewhere connected to the NEP as well, where we look at some of the contributions that the national education policy is looking in terms of being flexible, in terms of being multidisciplinary learning, equity, foundational levels are to be resolved, and how do we look at holistic development, solving the real world problems. So many of these things, though it was, it just came now in the NEP policy, but I think as institutions, some of us, or I think most of us, have been doing it long ago also. So we have been continuing, and now with this official focus coming on some of these terms, I think we are now more richer in understanding what the government is looking for the implementation. I think Raghavji spoke about something on public financing, where it is an important part in our the policy making as institutions of eminent importance, or you can call it national importance. We need to be very clear about how adequate, timely, and equitable these resource allocation happen, no? Because we are talking about the availability of funds, not only for the institutions, but also for some of these grassroots level exercises that many of the institutions do. So there are definitely the challenge that as a teacher we experience something like talking about it to the students in the class when we look at them trying to find answers at GPT or the generative AI. The thought of some of us, especially in IIMs, are let the students use these. As faculty, I think we should encourage them and tell them to be ethical when they use it. The disclosures are important. It's not about really cheating on what they submit, but let them be very honest and clear about their submissions. I think as faculty, we also try to find answers through these these tools. We have also learned, so even though we would have been those traditional people, or maybe, reaching maybe 50 years or above 50 years, or becoming more reaching into the group of being senior citizens slowly. But I think we should also unlearn and relearn some of these things, because ultimately we are teaching to younger generations in classes. So that's where some of these challenges continue. And I think NEP policy will give us a benefit, or it will even open up new avenues of thinking, and even open up new avenues of research. As most of my focus is more on the legal side of it. I do work within the framework, or you can say the regulatory framework that are defined not only for the country, but even beyond. Yeah, so even when we move internationally, where some of our students sometimes get placed, we have to teach them being ethical, respect culture,
respect the other views, opinions. We do a lot of those things. From my side, I really feel that, I feel honored getting this award, because I feel it's a starting point for, at least for me, to do a lot of work in public service. And I take this as a beginning. Thank you so much.
थैंक्स अलॉट मैम। और जैसा कि कहा कि शिक्षा से जो सशक्तिकरण है, उद्यमिता से ऊपर उसका कोई प्रभाव नहीं है। बिकॉज इफ focal marks of becoming the fourth largest economy or the third largest economy, I think it is the entrepreneurial spirit of every youngster, which has to get nurtured, which has to get curated out there. And that's what our IIMs are doing across. And Dr. Gupta is really, I would say, a leading light of the same. And we are so very fortunate to have felicitated her on this very epochal occasion. तकनीक के विश्व से हमने डॉक्टर मुरारी लाल गौर को सम्मानित किया, और प्रबंधन के क्षेत्र से डॉक्टर दीपिका गुप्ता को हमने आज इस मंच से सम्मानित किया। और अब जो हमारे पंच विद्यालय स्तरों पर हमारे कुछ प्रधानाचार्य और वुड बी प्रधानाचार्य, बिकॉज संस्कार की बात है, शिक्षा, उद्यमिता, सशक्तिकरण, पर जो संस्कार हैं, शिक्षा के संस्कार, द फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ इट ऑल, I think they are all impregnated into those 12-14 years of schooling. और वहाँ पर जो संस्कार आपके अंदर उद्दीप्त हो गए, I think that is what chiseled is in the undergraduate or the postgraduate programs going further and forward. So I would just quickly move on to one of the youngest representatives out here, who is an headmistress at the Scottish High International School, Gurugram, Madam Isha Verma, who has distinguished herself as a edu leader who is furthering education as a public service. And the kind of works she is doing, it becomes impelling to read it out for the entire August audience out here. I would just come to Madam Isha Verma's elaborate submission as to what makes her a true representative out here on this August audience. So she's a senior school head, and she has always believed in education is so much more than a pathway to economic success. Economics is vital, but it is so much more, because character impregnation, as we said, कि संस्कार का उद्दीपन तो विद्यालयी शिक्षा में ही होता है. It's a deeply human journey, one that helps individuals discover who they are. Because the ethics, what Madam Deepika Gupta was talking about, eventually they come from the 12 long years of chiseling, nurturing, seeing students. We have Madam Isha Verma on the spotlight. So it helps individuals to discover who they are, connect with others, and contribute meaningfully to the world around them. And in her role, she has tried to breathe life into this vision by creating a school culture where every child feels seen, heard, and valued. The real inclusiveness in every child, with that empathy. And from building inclusive classrooms to introducing service based learning in community projects, Madam Isha Verma has encouraged students to understand that learning isn't about marks, it's about meaning. I think today's Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee also used to talk about the integration of the Vishwavidyalayas with the Vidyalayas, the universities per se, to become a kind of an umbrella for hundreds and thousands of schools under them. That was his operational plan. And it used to be in earlier times, but then the school boards came through. So I think these are some of the learnings which I think at our higher levels, these can be incorporated well. And she has worked closely with teachers to make learning relevant and real, connecting academics with life skills, ethics, and empathy. And she has integrated community voices, embraced student-led initiatives, so and so forth, nurturing partnerships with families, local organizations, and civic bodies. Somewhere, even the NEP initial principles, they talk about that the student, the school, and the parents, they have to become a learning compact. The parents cannot be moved away from the learning compact for that matter. So she has focused upon. And education, the most powerful aspect of education, she says that it is ability to transform not just individuals, बट कम्युनिटी. सो गुरुग्राम में अवस्थित होके गुरुओं की है जो बात मैडम ईशा वर्मा इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. And we can go on and on the kind of creative interventions she has been talking about in terms of education as a public and common good. Education should lift everyone. That is the kind of commitment she has displayed all through. And then on the forefronts of accountability systems, moving beyond fixed plans, that is quite very interesting. I think I see a lot of similarities with Dr. Gore also, like because things can be, a blueprint can be given, but then if you have to really attain excellence, you have to really do something beyond that. Working as agile teams and not just job titles. Again, the crux of it all, the managerial crux in the educational space, where everyone is a savant in his or her own way. So, how to work agile teams? This again is one of the finest submissions we received, encouraging self reflection ओवर एक्सटर्नल ऑडिट. जो स्व संस्कार की एक भावना भारतवर्ष में रही है, कि एक्सटर्नल ऑडिट्स आर फाइन बट दे बिकेम टू मोर, आई वुड से मंडेन फॉर दैट मैटर, बट रियल चेंज कम्स फ्रॉम सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन, एंड दैट मैडम ईशा वर्मा हैज आइडेंटिफाइड इन टर्म्स ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी. एंड इफ आचार्याज, हमारे यहाँ आचार्य कहते हैं, जो स्वयं से आचरण करे वही तो छात्रों पर संस्कार उद्दीप्त करता है. देन रीडिफाइनिंग सक्सेस थ्रू ग्रोथ. Standardized tests don't always capture the full story. We now look beyond grades to value growth, like a student's improvement in teamwork, communication, or resilience. Uh, Being prepared for the unpredictable. The VUCA age, I think Dr. Gupta would be knowing all about it, like how to bring sthirta in a VUCA age. That's where that serene and composed mindset of school educator comes into play. On the frontiers of capacity building through stakeholder involvement and open dialogue, from instruction to collaboration. In the past, school decisions were often made by a few at the top, while the rest simply followed. But now, more than ever, we need to work together. When we involve people meaningfully, we don't just build policies, we build commitment. Uh, Beautiful. This is what is the spirit of future of education as a public service. Listening that leads to action. Trusting teachers as co-creators, very vital component in the entire spectrum. Being honest even when it is hard. I think I heard somewhere that honesty is not the best policy, it is perhaps the only policy. And that's what Madam Isha Verma is talking about. Open dialogue also means talking through the tough stuff, curriculum changes, policy shifts, exam stress. Learning as a community, this is very vital, because even the most modern researches are coming the way you learn with your, from your teachers, the peer learning, so and so forth. So this very aspect has been encapsulated so very well. And then on the frontiers of strategic thinking, Madam Isha Verma talks about seeing the school as a living ecosystem, aligning roles around a shared vision, balancing tensions with grace. So every institution faces tensions, innovations versus tradition, academic rigor versus well-being, autonomy versus accountability. Futuristic strategic thinking doesn't eliminate these tensions, it balances them thoughtfully, and letting evidence guide action, not assumption. So I think quite very fundamental aspects at the schooling level, which really creates charged up students for the higher education level, and using research to drive reform, not just reflection. So again, a very very elaborate, I would say, Isha Verma ma'am's submission out here. We really would like to now call her. Just a moment, I'm sharing the swapping takes a bit of a time. I'm sorry for that. Toggling from one screen to the other. Just a moment. So maybe I would invite Dr. Surbi to say a few words about Isha Verma ma'am. She has been interfacing with her quite a lot frequently. The dynamism she has, she's quite that polestar for school advancement teams. She's someone who is always at the forefront of trying something new, challenges out there. So that is what Madam Isha Verma is being felicitated as a Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee Excellence in Education as a Public Service Citation 2025. I request her to accept this token tribute and also address us briefly out here.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It's indeed a great honor for me to accept this citation. And as you mentioned, sir, that though I didn't know that I'm the youngest one receiving this citation on this platform, and it makes it a greater honor to receive this in front of so many visionaries. Thank you so much. And I feel especially privileged to receive this in the spirit of Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee, whose educational ideas continue to inspire all of us, all the generations ahead. I would say that his emphasis on self-reliance and academic excellence definitely serves as a guiding light for all of us. And while you were mentioning some of the important points related to stakeholders in my presentation that I submitted, I would like to, mention a great thing our core management team of the school, my respectable school chairman, who began this, I think, 20 years back with the concept of home visits. Our school is the only school I've ever heard of who genuinely, as a teacher, so say, for example, if I'm a teacher to a grade, would visit the homes of all the students personally, which gives such an exceptional bond between the parents and we as teachers and as educators, that we really understand what we want from each other in order for the development of the child. And this is what exactly, this is just one of the example, and there are so many other examples which makes Scottish High International School of Gurugram an exceptional institution, wherein it's not just it's not just teaching, it's building personalities and not just people. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to come in here and really commend Isha Verma ma'am. I've been interacting with her, the last, so much time that, as mentioned in her presentation, her submission, she's truly very dynamic, and always ready to, adapt and be flexible to the changing needs, environment. We all understand that the educational pressures which the edu leaders are facing, be it the vice principal, the principals, the management committees, with the ongoing, the new educational policy, NEP also has a lot of expectations from the academicians themselves. So with these pressures, going the extra mile, going the extra bit, trying to achieve the higher rungs of excellence. So vividly what Madam Isha Verma has said, that Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee is an embodiment of the academic excellence in his journey, life journey himself. I think this is something which is worth emulating for so many academic edu leaders and all across.
I think
you.
Deepika Gupta ma'am wants to comment at this point. I would really like to bring her in. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add one, word of appreciation for the work done by at the school level, because I know I should appreciate Isha ji for all her hard work, because the kind of students that we get at our postgrad program, especially at IIMs or IITs or universities, are what these schools have carved out. Yeah, so these are the students that we get. And I really feel so happy when we really get good students. Good in the sense they really appreciate and respect what the teachers are doing for them. So I think the roots are lying in the schools. If the school does the work, what they should do, and as what Isha ji's school, like going personally to meet the parents of the children, that is really, really very appreciative. I don't remember even my school doing that. Your parents used to rush to the school every time when there was a problem, but not the other way around. But I've seen the kind of, at times, the children that we get at the postgrad level, they are all adults, but the roots definitely lie in the way the schools have, you can say, built them, or it's, the way they are carved out at the school level. I should really appreciate the work done by all the school teachers. My mother has herself been a school teacher, so I can totally resonate with the hard work that is done, where the appreciation levels are very low. It's only at the top level that we are all credited or we are in the limelight, especially from IITs and IIMs, as Professor Gaur also mentioned, that IIT mein kya hai, hame pata hai, and that's a reality. I should not speak from the other side, because I belong to this side of the world. But I truly, truly appreciate the hard work done by all the schools, and we really want more betterment there. And I think NEP policy will be a weapon or a tool that will really change the way the schools are being. They deserve the credit they should get. Yeah, that's my side of
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Thanks a
all the
lot,
hard work
ma'am. I
from them.
think this is quite an adulation and additional citation this evening for all our school educators, because they are the ones who lay the foundations of education for that matter. And their contributions really need to be sung at the highest levels. And perhaps this is a grand beginning, because Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee was himself a votary of a university and a school continuum, because the funds, the faculty, the facilities, which are all out there, and a lot of like there are junior MBA programs which are being run by certain agencies at the grade 11th and 12th level itself. The vocational programs at 9th and 10th, perhaps maybe I am Vishakhapatnam can think of in one of its strategical purview, that maybe we can give you a kind of a certificate program of management 101, a capsule kind of a thing. What management is all about, a kind of a, because you run the career cell for I am Vishakhapatnam. So perhaps at the grade 9th, if you want to become a manager, these are the kind of characteristic traits what Madam Isha Verma's and the others are instilling in you. So that will make their job for, because the values and traditions at engineering or technological institutions, we are not that much subjected to. But our schooling comes into place all the while when we touch upon the OR, the all kinds of humanities driven management institutions, organizational behavior, and so on and so forth. So I think that's a great continuum, and this is being Dr. Mukherjee's birth anniversary. This continuum has been struck out so very beautifully. I would come back to Delhi, the national capital, but I would now touch upon the hinterland of Bharat, yet another knowledge capital. I think the Manchester, whatever we call it, the Kavi Nagari Kanpur, the Karanpur, we talk about it. Yet another doyen educator who is present with us this evening. What a marvelous persona and the kind of work Dr. Anupama Srivastav, ma'am, has really worked upon, and I'm really tempted, though it's a paucity of time, but I cannot do justice to her great persona without just a moment. I will just yeah. So the great work what she is doing at her institution. Yes, just yes. So, Dr. Anupma Mishra, ma'am, just I will come to Delhi quickly. This is yes. Yes. So Dr. Anupma Srivastav, ma'am, leads the St. Mary's Orthodox School at Kanpur currently. And let's just read out that in what all ways has the nominee demonstrated and displayed the drive and urge to champion the vision of education, not just as a driver of economic development, but also as a shared societal endeavor through which individuals, communities, and societies can develop their full potential. So, Madam Srivastav aims at experiential learning, exposure to national and international standards of excellence, shaping value based future leaders. So, values has been talked a lot about out here, and ethics, all they get created on the foundation of values. Valued parents and inclusion of stakeholders through a host of practices. We can just go on and on reading it. Cultivating holistic student development, value, emotional, social, ethical, and spiritual growth, as much as academic and vocational readiness. Vocational readiness is something which is so important, as Madam Deepika Gupta also said, that even the IM placement in this VUCA age is challenging. So somewhere or the other, how we can show the students the larger gamut of getting economically self-empowered, and this mindset has to be garnered at the school level itself. Promoting education as a community empowerment tool through the encouragement, parent and community participation in school activities. Madam Isha Verma was talking about the faculty going to the homes. So perhaps the community participation, at least bringing the parents to the schools for interactions, leading an equity and inclusion, prioritizing access and opportunity for all learners, modeling ethical and visionary leadership, inspire with a clearly articulated moral purpose, framing education as a pathway to dignity, justice, and collective upliftment. I think in this 75th year of the Indian constitutionalism, perhaps these values are so very pertinent. Prime Minister, in his last Red Fort speech at around 50 minutes, Prime Minister is known for making elaborate speeches. He invoked the youth of the country to come and give suggestions for the transformation of the governance per se. Because top down governance is happening. But if a bottoms up, I would say, engagement happens through platforms like CP Grams, RTI, CM helpline portals, I think that our students can really demand for dignity, justice, and collective upliftment. That's an educational thing Madam Srivastav is talking about. Building school ecosystems that mirror societal ideals. This is very important, that there has to be a continuum between the school campus and the larger society in which we traverse. That continuum she talks about a lot. She advocates equity, access to all students, SEL activities, old age home, orphanage, visit to old age home. This is the kind of empathy which comes through, because everyone has families, have got elderly people. So once you see the lesser privileged ones, a kind of a transformation happens, and perhaps this is so very important thing to kindle that light, to kindle that fire in them. Celebration of all religious functions at assembly time. So social activities, ma'am talks about, because Kanpur hosts one of the preeminent IITs, as I would say, the IIT Kanpur, and Professor H.C. Verma, the writer of Fundamentals of Physics. So that kind of an interaction they are having on futuristic thinking parts, on accountability systems, adaptive timetabling during crisis. Not very rigid one, but that is what Madam Srivastav has shown. Student centric decision making, responsive pedagogy instead of dictating a uniform teaching strategy. This is the crux of personalized learning, and perhaps what Dr. Murari Lal Gaur was also talking about, that AI would help only when the human interface, our faculty members would use AI as a tool rather than letting them dominate over there. And this is where the personalized learning trajectories can be brought about. Fostering a collaborative culture, organizing inclusive capacity building initiative workshops, and open dialogue for shared vision through town hall style meetings. Very important, because entering into a principal's office, we all remember our school days, we used to tremor, but the principal is coming to you, talk to me. So the kids will really dare and speak out, ma'am, this is my grievance, and that might change a entire spectrum altogether. Integrating stakeholders in strategic planning. So that is what Madam Deepika Gupta, that strategic planning is happening right at the school level itself, with the kind of great workload, huge subjects, newer and newer circulars, and organizations like ours also challenging the schools further to expand the envelope of their excellence, and celebrating and reflecting together. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, जो कलेक्टिवनेस के साथ हम जो ध्यान करते हैं, कहते हैं ना, योग और ध्यान, मेडिटेशन, इफ इट इज डन इन कम्युनियन, सो द कंस्ट्रक्टिव रेजोनेंस विच कम्स थ्रू, इट मेक्स इट सो वेरी फिनोमिनल. And last but not the least, championing a whole of system perspective, breaks silos by encouraging cross departmental collaborations, aligning roles and balancing tensions clearly defined, harnessing evidence and research for policy formulation, using data analytics in inspection reports, student feedback, so on and so forth. It's huge. We really wish to cheer the great good contribution of Madam Anupama Srivastav ma'am from this August forum. I'm just coming to her slide. I would this toggling is still troubling for me, but yes, just a moment. So yes, so I would request ma'am Srivastav to accept this token tribute and also address the forum briefly. Yeah, Dr. Anupama ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Raghavji and Surbhiji, for making this platform, giving opportunities, plethora of opportunities to the educators, the students to outshine here, and giving us the opportunity to interact with each other and I'm very much honored. Humbly, I accept this citation, and thanks to all of you for selecting me for this very prestigious award. I'm very much close to the views of Dr. Murari Lal Gaur, as sir has said, that all the eight visions which have been set by Syama Prasad ji are actually the base of NEP, New Education Policy. How long back he has visualized all 8 facts, that because of this, the future education cannot move. The calipers are to be used, and these are being used by all of us. The new education policy is actually a base for the growth of the future generation in the field of education, so that we can form the future leaders who get the exposure not at the national level, but at the international level also. They are competent enough to show their skills at global level. During my all 34 years of working as a teacher first, and later on as a principal, I have worked a lot aiming for all these points only. Nobody has asked me that, ma'am, you have to do this one. I have taken initiatives by myself. And because of this, today I am the mentor of New York Academy of Sciences, where I am mentoring the students from about 34 to 35 countries. And believe me, when we are having the interactive sessions, brainstorming sessions with these new generation of various countries, I can't tell you the experience, the pleasure which I feel. And many of the students are from our country also. So it's very appreciating that the students of this age, they have the passion to learn, to collaborate, and develop their skills. The way of thinking is actually very different from the students who do not want to come up, who do not get the exposure. And I'm happy that I am giving the exposure to my students also. I have been invited to attend the Global STEM Alliance Summit along with one of my school team, whom I prepared for the global challenge of how the Indian women and the infants, they face the malnutrition. What's the problem? How it can be resolved? And my team has actually worked for that one. The students visited to the hospitals, they collected the data, etc. So this is all what NEP says, that experiential learning should be there. And if we are able to just take our students to the ground resources, then definitely they will learn practically, and this will be a long-term learning. In long way, they will never forget the experience which they have received while visiting to these places, which is very rare and very difficult. As a teacher, this is our responsibility to just bring them into the practical area also. And my team was selected with one of the best solution to find out the reasons and then how this can be resolved, that the malnutrition in the Indian women and the infants which they are facing, how this can be resolved. So this is one thing which I like to share here, which I have shared with you, that the students should be given the opportunities. They should be given various ways of working. I will just request that the teacher should not be confined only to one way of chalk and board. That sort of teaching, we have to come out from that.
Mhm.
And practical learning is very, very important.
Mhm.
Here, Ma'am Deepika Gupta is there, Dr. Murari Lal Gaur is there. One request to all of you as our big brothers, our elders, because we belong to the school level and you are there at higher level working. Please do the hand holding.
Mhm.
You can just adopt one school in your city. And this is a request from all the universities, especially the government universities, the government colleges, etc., because there is not too much problem of the funds. And they are actually realistic people. Do the hand holding, adopt one school, and give them the opportunity to come and learn from your institutes also, that what is actually going to happen to them in future also. When one-to-one they will come to your organizations, they will be getting more vision, more focus, because all of us know that because of the, you can say here, the Facebook, Instagrams, the students' distraction is too much.
Mhm.
They do not understand the real life which they have to face after a few years. We have the responsibility, we are doing them, we are protecting them from the distractions. But if at the same time they get the exposure to learn something for a few days in your institutions, they get the opportunity to visit to you, definitely they will be ready to face the upcoming world, the competition, how they have to get exposure, what are the lines later on. And with this, I come to an end and
Thank you.
request all of you to work in collaboration with the students at lower level also.
Mhm. Thanks a lot, ma'am. It's really heartening to know that an Indian educator is mentoring the students from 34 odd countries. So perhaps you are rekindling that Indic spirit of Vishwa Guru, where our Bharatiya Gurus are really are really shaping up the youngsters from all across. And I think this this inter institutional connect, what you talked about, this is very high on the agenda. And as Deepika ma'am has also talked about in the chat window, that they invite students to their campuses. Kanpur Lucknow belt in itself has a lot many higher education institutions, and perhaps a kind of starting has to be made, because the higher education institutions, they get only the K-12 students as their students as well. So I think those campus visits can be made a part of that adaptive timetable what you were talking about. I think the germs are all out very well. And the overarching theme which we are witnessing in this great commemoration is that the university and school connect, which has to really go further deeper into it, because for many reasons. Dr. Srivastav wants to say something, ma'am. So
Fine.
yeah. So with this, we move on to the next. We move to the national capital, and we have just a moment. I will just okay. Three very special recipients this evening, and I would first of all go to Madam Rashmi Gupta. Delhi is all about Madam Gupta these days, the unequivocal chief minister in Madam Rekha Gupta, who is really leading the state, whatever challenges. Ma'am Rashmi Gupta is here with us.
Yeah, ma'am is there.
Yeah, ma'am, if you can come on the camera, we would really. So,
Request ma'am to switch on the camera, please.
yeah, yes.
I'm there, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you are here. We can't see you on the camera, that's why, ma'am.
Okay.
If you
Uh,
come, yeah. Okay. Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah, ma'am. So quickly, I will just go to her lovely what work she is doing as Again, I'm on the wrong slide. Just a moment. Browser. Yes. So, Madam Rashmi Gupta leads the DAV public school, the Dayanand Anglo Vedic school, the entire chain of it all, West Patel Nagar, Delhi. And so So, recognizing the power of education to bring lasting change, she has introduced the Teach a Man to Fish project. We would really love to know more from her. Skillfully integrating entrepreneurship and life skills into the school curriculum. And this initiative not only raises funds for underprivileged students but also instills a sense of self reliance and responsibility among learners. Perhaps a kind of a case study of the various kind of entrepreneurial programs which are conducted at the school level, because a lot of these students, they come from family business background. And one of the other themes what we at Rethink India champion is family SMEs. If they can take upon their own family enterprise and accelerate it using all the techno managerial wisdom whatever they have got, they can really serve the society well. So, on the frontiers of education as a public common good, so Madam Rashmi Gupta has truly stood as a strong advocate for the belief that education is a public and common good, something that should be available to every child. And they conduct community outreach programs offering support to economically weaker students and ensuring that no child is left behind. And so, with a humanistic vision, Madam Gupta focuses not on just academics but also values like compassion, responsibility, and respect. And very interestingly, programs like feeding stray animals, running health and environmental campaigns, and as we talked about, Teach a Man to Fish project. So I think this is great work what DAV at DAV school Madam Gupta is doing. I would request Madam Gupta to accept this token tribute from this forum and also address us out here. More about her works. Just a moment, I will just share her citation and then bring her to the screen. Yes, Madam Rashmi Gupta.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I humbly accept the citation. And talking about my work, uh, I think that from the very childhood, if we teach the children how they should grow, I think that is very important. And keeping that in mind, we are doing these small things so that the children can understand the importance from the very tender age. And later on, these things become a part of their life. Like you just talked about looking after the animals. So during our vacations, sometimes we are giving our children such small little activities that they should do, so that they show respect. Also, they have that compassion and love for all things around them, because nature has provided us with so many things. And we would we would like that children should understand that each and everything is important, and it is their responsibility also that they should take care of. So during our the vacations, we give them such holiday homeworks, like feeding of birds, watering plants, making animals feed the stray animals. We educate them that we should feed the stray animals also. And all these small things will later on help their family. And also, that you were talking about this, we have written about this Teach a Man to Fish.
Mhm.
This is an entrepreneurship activity. And here we are from the very small age, we make the children understand the importance of how they can be self sufficient. And using the waste They can create a number of things which we put on the sale in the school for the parents, sometimes for outsiders also. And we do certain yeah, exhibitions and all, where the money which is collected from after creating items using the waste, they are sold, and then that money is used for the social cause. We at times go to help, matlab we are sponsoring Helpage India also, certain other social organizations, that NGOs and all, who are either teaching the underprivileged children, or who are in need of, like we have one this old age home where we have number of old ladies staying there. So our children at times go to them, talk to them, help in their work, and they feel so happy and excited, and they love this gesture of the children. So all these small things we are doing, just keeping in mind that later on they grow up as good citizens. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. It's truly honor to have you on this forum. We have two other eminent awardees this evening. I would really like to felicitate Madam Sonia Chabra, who happens to be the principal at Bal Bharti uh, uh, Public School, Pitampura, Delhi. Dr. Surbhi?
Yeah, we're joined by Preeti Khanna, madam, from Bal Bharti.
Yeah.
Madam Chabra could not make it.
Okay, yeah, Preeti Khanna ma'am is out here. So yet another elaborate, I would do the, just a moment. So Madam Sonia Chabra again is leading the pack by a huge set of futuristic interventions in the domain of education as a public service, as has been evident from her very elaborate submission, holistic education, student development with a humanistic focus. Madam Chabra embeds programs that go beyond academics to nurture social, emotional, and moral development, value education and life skill modules, student led community engagement clubs, which partner with NGOs and address real world issues such as what Madam Rashmi Gupta was saying, senior care, gender equity, and literacy linked to the UN SDGs. Impact has been that over 70% student participation in outreach programs highlights the school's success in nurturing active, responsible citizens who understand the value of social contribution. This is what Dr. Gaur was talking about, that AI can give you the content of education, but then the human values, the humanistic side would need the human touch of principals, of faculty members like Isha Verma, so and so forth over there. Promotion of inclusion, equity as pillars of shared educational growth. Her leadership ensures that no learner is left behind, affirming education as a right for whole. So, individualized approach, support through remedial teaching is practiced at BBPS Pitampura, counseling, peer mentoring, strengthens access for students from EWS and marginalized backgrounds. Implementation of multilingual language has been big issue in the contemporary times. We are all witnessing that way. So multilingualism, NEP aligned pedagogy is making learning contextual, culturally relevant, and accessible. So the beauty of Madam Chabra's submission, that it has all been made into the impact side of it all, a significant 30% increase in performance and retention amongst disadvantaged learners over 3 years demonstrates Madam Chabra's commitment to equity and justice in education. So, what we can measure, what we can present across. So, this is the kind of a culture which is evolving all through. And school is a community resource and anchor of development. Now, this is very, very important in the spirit of public service. Education is a public service. So, under her leadership, BBPS Pitampura has evolved into a vibrant community that uplifts not just students but families and neighborhood youth. So it's a kind of a huge hub, vibrant hub. So it has to radiate all around, and that is what she is doing. The schools skills beyond schools program imparts functional schools. A lot of innovations we can see out here. What Madam Chabra's leadership is delivering to BBPS. Then student agency in social innovation. We are all talking about innovations in terms of unicorns and deca unicorns, and at times people have a critique. भैया ये करने को क्या है? This is all filling up the gaps in our public service for that matter. There was a post on LinkedIn talking about band-aid innovation recently. But social innovation is the place where the real innovative innovation package do comes into play. Initiatives like education for all camps, free library access. So so impact driven solutions using design thinking, such as apps for water conservation or inclusive playgrounds. Maybe Preeti Khanna ma'am, who would be representing Madam Chabra, would be talking a bit about these initiatives more, because lot of innovation is happening in our schools. It needs to be documented, and this has become much bigger than the NEP policy document per se. So if it can be what they say data coded, if it can be put into a kind of a Reddit kind of a tag frame, and then many of the institutions start learning from each other. Oh, they are doing, let's do it. And that is the spirit of forums like these, that we learn from each other, get intoxicated. It's a contagion, a positive contagion, which should spread all across. Then multilingual theater. I love this theme of multilingualism all through, because भारत में जो भाषा का प्रश्न है, even when AI driven भाषणी has come, and European Union says that our official language is multilingualism. So with AI machine translation tools in place, you can translate any of the written or the spoken word. What is the problem out there? And in fact, Zoom, whatever we are talking, it will be transcribing it as in real time, the content, whatever we are talking. So schools taking up the multilingual theme is very heartening. Heritage walks, civic understanding. So winners of ATL Marathon, 40% rise in girls' participation in STEM reflects a growing culture of youth agency and innovation. So 23rd June also happens to be the International Day of Women in Engineering. So perhaps that is Syama Prasad Mookerjee sir's Punyatithi, where we do these congregations. So global citizenship grounded in local realities. Think globally, act locally. This message of Madam Chabra is so very vital. While preparing students for global citizenship, she ensures that their learning remains deeply rooted in local consciousness. So exposure through model UNs, so and so forth. Coming to education as a public and common good. So unwavering committee to equity and inclusion, as we see that ensuring childs with special needs receive personalized support, differentiated instruction, and emotional scaffolding. And in a landmark move towards inclusivity and empowerment, the school has also collaborated with the Special Olympics Bharat to provide children with intellectual disabilities. Now, this is so very so very touching, that it really makes education, for that matter, and the atmosphere within the school is congenial, accepting, and nurturing. It thrives on mutual respect, empathy, and collaboration. All the governance at BBPS Pitampura is participatory and transparent, and they are treated, students, teachers, parents, and staff are treated as stakeholders in shaping the school directions and ethos. I think that is what Dr. Gaur talked about, that that's how I transformed CVRU in Bihar. And in every initiative she leads, Madam Chabra ensures that education at BBPS transcends academic achievements to become powerful instrument of dignity, equity, and social transformation. So Shiksha ka sanskar, we can see the resplendence out here. So lastly, the accountability systems, it's on and on. We can see models of accountable innovation, game changers, Shark Tank at BBP. School building is a living learning environment. BBPS Pitampura is not just a school, it's a community anchor, an immersive learning space. Bala, building as a learning aid. Now, this is terrific. The large scale graphics, which can be on the classroom corridors, it can be wherever you go, learning follows. It's not just the classroom per se, it infuses educational value into architecture, interactive walls, learning corners, and green zones, sparking curiosity. Uh, Equity, we have talked a lot. Evolving pedagogies through reflective practice, teachers continuously upskill through regular professional development, peer reviews, collaborative planning, uh, coming to capacity building, empowering teachers as leaders, as innovations, giving students voice and responsibility, partnering with parents through trust and communication, alumni as mentors. We talk a lot about alumni at the higher education level, but somehow at the schooling level, the alumni involvement doesn't remain to that extent. Perhaps BBPS is doing a lot of on that frontier. And finally, on the strategic frontier part, aligning roles for collective ownership and sustainable progress, balancing tensions with visionary sensitivity, like harmonizes academic rigor with co-scholastic innovation, ensuring both cognitive excellence, evidence-informed, research-driven reforms, systemic reforms through integrated policy innovation. We can all see it all here. So this is what Madam Chabra has been leading the pack at BBPS, and that makes her truly a candidate for Dr. Syama Prasad Mukherjee citation for excellence in education as a public service. I would request Madam Preeti Khanna. Madam Chabra could not attend for some very personal reasons. Uh, let's hear out from Madam Preeti
Hmm.
Khanna. Yeah.
First of all, I want to thank everyone on the portal on behalf of our principal for this citation. It's an honor for us to have this, and as said, it's not the work of one person. We firmly at Bal Bharti believe it's the team who makes it possible. So, as it is collectively said, together everyone achieves more. So, that's what our team does. We actually have a vision starting from CWS and children, as we've specified that we've collaborated with the Special Olympics Bharat. We recently even participated in the CBSE CWS and athletic meet, where our children won laurels, where we call those children as special needs children with intellectual disabilities. But the fact they did amazing out there, and we are into formation of our own athletic teams of such children. So that is one initiative they're working towards. Another we talked about was the special um, lessons for the EWS, or the children who are actually below the education line, I would say, who are probably the first learners, first generation learners. We provide extra classes on Tuesdays, Fridays, and all working Saturdays without charging anything. We ensure they stay back, they complete their work, they learn, they write, and then they go back home satisfied. So at least the first generation learner would do a wonderful job. And a small incident that happened in grade six, since I'm leading the middle school, uh, a grade six child who was not even able to read and write. So we collectively decided on that let's give him that support. And we used to check his notebooks, make him sit every day. From an E grade, he passed up with B grade and with flying colors. So that was one achievement which even motivated other children that yes, everything is very much possible. Another one we talked about was our alumni association. We have a very strong alumni association. We are working on the Shark Tanks. We have the sports campuses. We have alumni as a part of every function we have. Anything that comes to school as a innovation, as an initiative, we have a strong support of our alumni, which are contributing back to what school has given them. Because here, Bal Bharti Pitampura talks of a full circle. So whoever comes here for the first time stays here because that is what we are known for. And in sports, we have been for 8 consecutive or maybe more years, we have been the best school in sports in the North Zone also. So these are the few achievements and initiatives that we've been taking under the leadership of our principal. And again, thank you so much for providing us this citation. On behalf of ma'am, I would thank everyone on the platform with this citation. Thank you so very much for this.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. And we come to the closure of this. I think Dr. Murari Lal Gaur wants to come
Yeah,
in.
just Raghav, I like to, इंडिया चेंज हो रहा है, हिंदुस्तान भी चेंज हो रहा है, हम भारत बनने वाले हैं, भारत,
Sir.
विकसित भारत। तो हिंदी में बात करते हैं थोड़ा सा।
जी जी
विकसित
जी
भारत में राम राज्य होना चाहिए।
जी जी
राघव इज वेल सेट टू बी राम। सो आज राघव मित्तल का ये राम राज्य के लिए छोटा सा कदम। और जो मैंने 6 का अक्षर सीखा, 6 फिगर, जो कि श्यामा प्रसाद जी का डेट ऑफ बर्थ है, आपने अचंभा कर दिया। एक जानकारी ऐसी है, शायद आपको भी इसका आवाज नहीं होगा,
जी
आपने 7 अवार्ड दिए हैं, उनमें से 6 महिला हैं, 6 आर वुमेन्स एंड ओनली वन आई एम देयर। तो दिस 6 इज वेरी स्पेशल। और मैं इस 6 शक्तियों पर एक स्टोरी लिखूंगा अपने लिंक्डइन पे, आई विल शेयर इट, और मैं कल
क्या
सत्य साई में इसको रखूंगा। और
जी
ये
बिल्कुल
बहुत अच्छा सौभाग्य है। दूसरा
बिल्कुल
पॉइंट,
जी सर
मैं स्कूल के बारे में बोलना चाहता था कि
जी
लोगों ने स्कूल को अलग कर दिया है,
जी
यूनिवर्सिटी को अलग कर दिया है।
जी
किसी को शब्द का मतलब ही नहीं पता।
जी
यूनिवर्सिटी का मतलब क्या होता है?
जी
विश्वविद्यालय।
जी
एक तरफ विश्व है, एक तरफ विद्यालय है।
जी जी
विद्यालय स्कूल है, विश्व मॉडर्न है। आपको दुनिया और स्कूल के बीच का जो काम है उसको यूनिवर्सिटी को करना है।
जी
हम वो नहीं कर रहे।
जी
हम अपने कॉलर उठा के यूनिवर्सिटी है। भाई आपके नीचे स्कूल है, ऊपर वर्ल्ड है, आपको स्कूल से वर्ल्ड को जोड़ना है। दैट्स ऑल। मैं वो काम कर रहा हूँ, बच्चों
जी
को लाता हूँ यूनिवर्सिटी में, खुद जाता हूँ स्कूल में, बहुत मजा आता है।
हाँ,
लास्ट लाइन सर, वैशाली के पास एक स्कूल है लालगंज में, छोटी सी लड़की है 6 क्लास की। मैंने
जी
आइडिया थॉन किया, उससे पूछा बेटा कोई नई आइडिया बताओ देश के लिए। बोला अंकल एक बात बोलूं? बोला बोलो। बोला हमारे घर में मम्मी बहन बेटी सब कपड़े सुखाती हैं अंकल, तो धूप कभी इधर आती है कभी उधर आती है, बार बार भागना पड़ता है, कपड़ों को उठा के यहाँ से वहां डालो, वहां से वहां डालो। मेरे दिमाग में एक आइडिया है। बोलो। कि सर आप एक छोटा सा सेंसर बना दीजिए ना, एक
हाँ,
एक रस्सी लगा के लकड़ी में लगा दीजिए, धूप के हिसाब से वो चेंज होता रहेगा, इधर से
गजब
उधर, हमारी मेहनत बच जाएगी। ओ माय गॉड, व्हाट ए आइडिया इट वाज। आई शेयर दिस आइडिया इन आईआईटी हैदराबाद विद द डायरेक्टर। सर उसके ऊपर 50 लाख का प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट हो गया है।
वाह,
स्मॉल आइडिया ऑफ ए चाइल्ड ऑफ 6 क्लास गर्ल फ्रॉम ए विलेज। तो आइडिया की कमी नहीं है, हमें थोड़ा सा अपना कपड़ा उतारना है, जमीन में जाना है, पैर गंदे करने हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
बिल्कुल
कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन।
मैं डॉक्टर सुरभि से कहूंगा
Very well said, sir. Very well, and I definitely agree with him. Sir, Murari, sir, you were amazing, and they are the facts you've stated. Thank you so much for sharing on, and it's a thanks from all of us. Thank you so
Please
much.
be in contact. Let us have some honeycomb type of structure.
यस
सर बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
सर
सही।
देखिए,
एक और
ये
एक
लास्ट
दो
लाइन
नहीं, एक और एक 11 होते हैं तो हम
जी
7 लोग
सुनिए।
हैं। So
तीन
you can
चीज दुनिया में ऐसी
multiply the
होती है
ones.
मैडम, 3 चीज दुनिया में ऐसी होती है, पानी, पैसा और विजडम। इसको फ्लो होना चाहिए, अगर फ्लो रोक दिया ना तो इसमें बदबू आएगी, खराब हो जाएगा।
जय
सो
जय
लेट अस हैव द
जय
एक्सचेंज ऑफ नॉलेज। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
डॉक्टर सुरभि धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव और हम आज की सभा का फिर विश्राम देंगे
So I take this very precious moment and opportunity to thank our distinguished Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee, Excellence in Education as a Public Service Citations Awardees. And what should I say? I mean, this has been such a scintillating evening for all of us. Because the kind of the learning nuggets which we have got, and from this very distinguished galaxy of edu leaders, I think this is mind boggling. शिक्षा एक संस्कार है, शिक्षा क्रांति भी है। जैसे डॉक्टर मुरारी लाल गौर सर ने कहा कि कर्म भूमि, क्लासरूम इज द कर्म भूमि for the teacher, for the students, for the entire school. The school is a community, and what the new educational policy is instilling in the students, in the schools, a mission to instill education which is truly meaningful, which is truly taking us to the practitioners aspect of things. When the school student graduates, enters the college, he should be an able student, able to crack the problems of his life, to onboard the journey of his career with full rigor and empowerment. And that I feel is what our school leaders are essentially. They are working so very hard, and with the flame of the torch of knowledge, the jnana is reflecting in us all. And I take this moment to thank all aboard this, we should say, this Gyan Ganga Vihar, which the ship of knowledge. And thank you once again from all of us at Rethink India to have graced this occasion, and wishing one and all very hearty wishes on the birth anniversary of Dr. Syama Prasad Mookerjee, a true educator and a mascot for the Indian education system, who has been the youngest vice chancellor. एंड उनके अष्ट सिद्धांतों को हम याद रखें और उनको और आगे प्रगाढ़ बनाएं, अपने जीवन में उनको उतारें। इन्हीं प्रार्थना के साथ सभी को साधुवाद और अभिनंदन करते हुए धन्यवाद।
प्रणाम।